Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. It is the player ratings. Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 1 at the City Ground this evening. An absolutely humongous win for Everton Football Club. One that we desperately needed. Not only to climb further away from the bottom of the table and closer to getting out of the relegation zone, but also to eliminate the pressure that has been piled on everybody at the football club. The players and the manager probably being impacted the most by it, along with the fans. Ironically, those three groups of people had no involvement in the situation whatsoever. So the win today, obviously, as I said on Friday, the sooner we get that first win under our belt, the better, because we can start to focus on going forward as opposed to that big sort of cloud looming over our heads. And today was an absolutely fantastic way to get it. A really solid performance, really solid away performance, one that we've seen numerous times this season. Palace, Brentford, West Ham, and obviously now Nottingham Forest as well to add to that list. I'm starting to believe that Everton actually might be quite good at football away from home. If we can figure out how to perform at Goodison as well, how to put the ball into the back of the net there, then we will without a doubt be okay this season. But today was huge, a massive win. I think the majority of the squad, I think every player worked hard, every player battled, and I think the majority of the players that were on the pitch were absolutely fantastic today. Nottingham Forest were really poor, to be fair, and it does have to be said, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, we've witnessed Everton numerous times, not just over the years, but this season specifically, come up in games where, we've played against a side that haven't particularly been great and haven't necessarily deserved anything out the game, and yet they've still come away winning the game because Everton haven't taken our chances and we've gifted silly opportunities away. So, it was fantastic to get the 3 points today and a really positive win. So let's get straight into it then. Jordan Pickford, I'm going to give Jordan an 8 out of 10. Not the most lively I've ever seen Jordan Pickford. Didn't have an awful lot to do. As I said, Nottingham Forest for me today I thought were poor. I don't think they were as aggressive as they were last season. I don't think they seemed as confident as they did last season. They're obviously in a little bit of a poor run of form at the moment, and they've not picked up a win for a number of weeks now, so maybe the pressure is starting to pile on there. But I thought Forest were really poor, certainly going forward. So Jordan didn't have an awful lot to do, but there's always something to be said for a goalkeeper who spends 99% of the game not doing anything, but then that 1% where he has to be alert, he has to be there, he has to be confident, he was. And the Anthony Elanga shot towards the back end of the game was exactly that. Although he'd not really been called upon, although he'd not really had much to do, he was absolutely outstanding in that moment to come out, to sense the danger, and also to sense that Elanga wasn't completely in control of the ball, and then to come out and make that challenge was nothing short of world class. And if it was certain other goalkeepers in this league, it would be plastered all over the news and whatever else has been an absolutely fantastic performance. So yeah, he deserves an 8 for me, because whilst he wasn't hugely involved, the moment we needed him to be involved, he was. And he deserves a lot of credit for that. Before we go any further, don't forget to go and check out FanHub in the description down below. We're doing this player rating video in association with FanHub. As always, as you can see there, we've got the team. We're going to be going through every single player and giving them a rating. I should have said that prior to giving Jordan Pickford the rating, but I made up. It's Saturday night, Everton have won, and I forgot about it. So go and check out FanHub, top line in the description. If you use the code that is in the description as well, you'll get on there instantly without having to wait in any queues, completely free. Follow us over there at the Mighty Blues as well. So yeah, Jordan is getting an 8 simply because whilst he wasn't massively involved today, whilst he didn't have an awful lot to do, the moment when we needed them to be involved, the moment when we needed them to stand up and be accounted for, he did. And that was a huge moment in the game. So yeah, he's getting an 8. Vitaly Mykolenko, I'm going to give him an 8.5. I thought he was extremely solid today. A little bit quiet last week against Manchester United, not as involved as what he had been in the previous 4, 5, 6 weeks, but today he was back to what he was prior to the points deduction news. He was absolutely phenomenal today. I gave an example on the instant match reaction about one moment where he was toe-to-toe with Morgan Gibbs-White and he just completely bounced him off the ball and was able to give the ball back to Jordan Pickford and completely eliminate any form of danger. And, Vitaly Mykolenko of 12 months ago, Vitaly Mykolenko of 18 months ago, would he have done that? I'm not so sure. Whereas, the Vitaly Mykolenko of now is certainly a much more confident player and is in a really good reign of form at the moment. And today I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. His one-on-one defending again was really good. Didn't get forward as much as what he obviously has done in recent weeks, but still defensively was really solid, and I think he dealt with their attack relatively comfortably. So yeah, he's getting an 8.5. Tarkowski, going to give him a 7.5. Thought he put in a really solid shift as well. Nothing particularly huge to discuss, nothing particularly massive in terms of moments, but just generally defensively, I thought he was really solid again. Tarky is what he is. You get what you get. I think his best parts today were actually in the attack. I think he played a couple of really good balls over the top. I think he played a really nice in-switching ball where he had the ball right at their corner flag, and he sort of cut it underneath the defender's legs, cut it, and Mykolenko ran onto it, and Mykolenko, I think, tried to take, I think it was some form of shot / cross. I think he got a little bit confused with himself and nothing come of it, but it was a wonderful ball by Tarkowski, and it was a wonderful bit of play. And yeah, as I said, I think his most impressive moments today were those attacking balls, those attacking crosses. He made another one to Mykolenko in the first half where Miko chests it down, and his touch is just a little bit too heavy, but it was a wonderful pass. I thought he was really solid today, Tarky, and as I said, his distribution was absolutely spot on. So I'm going to give him an 8 actually, because his distribution deserves that. Branthwaite next to him, I give him a 7.5. Obviously not as involved distribution wise and with those long balls, but defensively really solid again. Again, difficult really to sit here and detail the centre halves in terms of their defensive performances, because as I said, I personally think Nottingham Forest were really poor. I don't think they offered much in the game. I don't think they give much, certainly going forward. So, but ultimately, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, they were there to do their job. They were there to be there when they were needed, and they were. And as I said, I think Jad had put in another really solid performance. Battled, worked hard, was there when we needed them to be, defended when we needed them to defend, put himself in the way of chances as well. And there's not much more you can say about that. He done his job, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. Right back then, Ashley Young. Ashley Young. I'm gonna give him a 6.5, and that isn't just because I want to be controversial or I want to be harsh or whatever. I think he struggled a couple of times to deal with the pace of Anthony Elanga, although Anthony Elanga didn't do anything and nothing really come of the opportunities that were created down that left-hand side for him. I still think he got the better of Ashley Young a couple of times, and ultimately I think that put us under a little bit of pressure. He wasn't awful today, Ashley Young. He wasn't by any sense of the imagination awful. He worked hard. He put himself about defensively. He was relatively solid. As I said, I think he got down that side a couple of times, but obviously nothing come from it. So it's not really worth sitting here and discussing in large amounts of detail. But yeah, he was okay. He was okay today. And you might say, oh, you're only saying that, Cam, because you won. I still don't think Ashley Young should be in this Everton team. I really don't. I think Nathan Patterson should be in there ahead of him, and I think Seamus Coleman should be in there ahead of him. But the reality of the situation was, he was in there today. He wasn't anywhere near as catastrophic as he has been in previous weeks. He wasn't unbelievable either. He was just okay. He was just okay, and maybe he deserves credit for that, because we're so quick to jump on him when he doesn't perform in that way. So yeah, into the midfield then. James Garner is getting a 9. I thought he was absolutely outstanding today. Absolutely outstanding. As I said in the instant match reaction, it was back to the James Garner performances of 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. I thought he was a little bit sheepish against Manchester United. I thought he seemed a little bit shy. He seemed a little bit struck of confidence, whereas today I thought he was absolutely magnificent again. Dominant on the ball, winning the ball back. His work rate was unbelievable. He was demanding more of other players. Every time Forest had the ball, he was there, the first Everton player there to try and win it back, the first Everton player there to try and intercept it. And on the ball as well, his passing was good. He was moving the ball into good areas. I just thought he was absolutely phenomenal today. I really did, and I think he deserves a 9. Garner again next to him, I'm going to give him an 8. I thought he was absolutely fantastic as well. Probably not as involved as what James Garner was for the entirety of the game. I thought James Garner really come into his own in the second half, but I thought Garner was really solid again. Difficult role to step into, the Onana role, and he's obviously not similar to Onana in terms of his size and his sort of his physicality in terms of how he is as a player, but his performance today was absolutely fantastic. I actually thought Garner done relatively okay last week against Manchester United as well, but today I was really impressed with him. I thought he put in a really solid performance, and yeah, he deserves a lot of credit for that. Abdoulaye Doucouré then, I'm going to give him a 7. I don't think he was as good as he has been in some previous away games. There's been some away games that Everton have played in this season where Abdoulaye Doucouré has been unplayable. He's been a 10 out of 10. He's been somebody that, the opposition team haven't been able to get anywhere near on the pitch. I don't think he was quite that today, but he was still, he was still impactful. He still did put in a good performance. He still worked hard. He still battled. He still put himself about. He had moments in the game where you were a little bit, what's he doing there? I'm not quite sure about that, but ultimately that's just the way he is as a player. Again, he was always involved today, and that was my biggest criticism of him last week, was that he just wasn't involved enough, wasn't creating enough, just wasn't impactful enough on the game. Whereas today, I think he was not necessarily unbelievable performance, but I think he was involved an awful lot more, and he put himself about and he made a nuisance of himself as well. So yeah, there you go. Into the forwards then, Dwight McNeil, 8.5 out of 10. Fantastic today. Seen a few people criticising him on social media at half-time, and I was a little bit baffled because I don't think he was one of Everton's worst players at half-time whatsoever. He did get better as the game went on, that has to be said, and he did have moments in that first half where his decision-making was a little bit poor, but for the most part, his work rate was fantastic, his desire was brilliant, his involvement was there as well. We've had a few games this season where Dwight McNeil has sort of ghosted and not been anywhere near as involved as what he should be or what we expect him to be. Today, it was back to the Dwight McNeil of the back end of last season, when he was so pivotal for us. He was so important in Everton staying in this division, was because of Dwight McNeil's performances, and today it was very reminiscent of that. He was on the ball, he was moving it forward, he was driving it, he obviously scored the goal, an absolutely wonderful finish, brilliantly hit with his left foot, and yeah, I think he deserves an immense amount of credit for his performance today, because it was better than anything we've seen from Dwight McNeil in a number of weeks, and hopefully that can give him the confidence. Hopefully the goal gives him the confidence to move forward now. But yeah, I was really impressed with him today. I really was. Jack Harrison on the other side, going to give him a 4. Not impressed whatsoever. I think he struggled today, and I'll be honest, I think that right-hand side struggles. I don't think that right-hand side is suited whatsoever. I know we've won the game, and I'm not going to spend too much time on the negativities of it, but I just don't think that right-hand side is suited whatsoever. I don't think there's a partnership there. I don't think Harrison is confident with Young. I don't think Young is particularly confident with Harrison in terms of his defensive ability. But yeah, I just don't think he was great again today, and I think he's been poor for a number of weeks. And I know people are saying, oh well, Danjuma's not doing anything to get in the team and he's still better than Danjuma, etc. I'm not saying get him out the team, he's dreadful. I'm just saying I've not particularly been impressed with him recently, and I wasn't really impressed with him today. I think every time he had the ball, he seemed to lose it. His decision making seemed to be poor. His crossing didn't seem to be great today. I don't think he was particularly great. And then Beto up front, look, you've got to say it how it is, haven't you? And you've got to say it how you see it. Beto, yeah, I'm going to give him a 3 today. In all fairness to him, he wasn't hugely involved. You know what? Oh, I'll give Harrison a 5 because we've won the game and he worked hard. And I'll give Beto a 5 as well. I don't want to give 3s about when we've won the game. I think that's a little bit harsh. But yeah, he wasn't great today. His shot in the first half, he simply has to do better with. It's got to be on target. You can have the discussion as to whether or not he should have scored, but it's at the very least got to be on target. He had a couple of half chances in the second half, which never really came of anything, and were never really going to come of anything either. But yeah, as we said in the instant match reaction, he just looks like the type of player that is going to take a year or so to settle into the Premier League, to settle into the pace of it, to settle into the just the physicality, just everything that this league brings. He just doesn't seem to be able to deal with at the moment. And as we said before, you could say, oh, he's had an off day, or oh, he's not had a lot of game time, so he's not quite there yet. There's a lot of things you could say to defend him in terms of him, obviously, his first start for however long, first league start for however long as well. But yeah, he's somebody that we're going to have an awful lot of patience with, and I think we all quite clearly know that Dominic Calvert-Lewin, when fit, is our number one striker. And And that is how it is, but hopefully he can move on. And as I said, similar to the fact that this game was a must-win, because the sooner we won a game, the sooner we could relieve the pressure. I think it's similar for Beto. The sooner he scores a goal, the better he will become and the more confidence he will get. So yeah, not great today, but we've won the game. So and then off the bench, then Chimiti, the only substitution to be made. I'm going to give him a 6. Come on. Ran round, worked hard, put himself about and made himself a bit of a nuisance for the last 10 minutes to settle the game out. So there you go. They are the player ratings brought to you by FanHub, as we said. Go and check out the FanHub app down below. Completely free to download. Use our code there. Follow us over there at the Mighty Blues, and we'll follow everyone back. Do loads on the app. We speak about it all the time. It's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, there you go. Big thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. Check out the instant match reaction if you haven't already. Big thank you all for watching. Up the toffees, and we'll see you later.